WXII 12 News. This is special coverage of the coronavirus impact.
These are more than just numbers. The people who have died had lives and loved ones. Their families and friends are suffering in the wake of their passing, and we mourn with them.
Twice as many people have died from COVID-19 compared to last week, while some counties in our state look to reopen.
There's a new bench boss for the Demon Deacons. Coming up, I'll have details on Wake Forest's new head coaching hire.
I'm Sally Kidd in Washington with where things stand on testing and treating COVID-19, plus possible timing for a vaccine.
We have heard from dozens, if not hundreds of you who are having trouble filing for unemployment. The state's reporting more than 900,000 people have filed successfully since the middle of March. Our Leanne Dinier has been speaking to many of you who are having a hard time. Leanne, what are you hearing?
Well, I talked to a Guilford County man today who says that he is spending hours on the phone every day just trying to get this unemployment claim sorted out.
Brandon Itzkew works in security.
Calling the 888 number for DES got me nowhere. It was the familiar, due to high call volumes.
Due to the high number of claims related to COVID-19, our phone lines are busier than usual.
Everything I've done, everything I've tried, it's just going nowhere.
Itzkew moved to North Carolina from Rhode Island recently. He says he's eager to start a new life here with a growing family.
My wife, who's pregnant, she's 4.5 months pregnant. I had medical bills. I wasn't able to pay my car payments for the last 2 months, which violated my contract of service with them, so they repossessed my car.
Itzkew says he's trying to get the state to pay him in back pay after losing his job March 2nd.
Between just calling the 888 number, it's been at least 400 times. Each day I start my day at 8 a.m. and I have worked through most days at least 1 p.m. before I give up. Just going through the inevitable cycle of not being able to connect through.
Unsure what else to do, where else to go for answers, he says he's connected with others struggling to file for unemployment on social media. Governor Roy Cooper has acknowledged the frustration many are feeling in the filing process.
Every one of these claims represents a family on the edge, and they need to be attended to as quickly as possible, and we're going to see to this.
Itzkew says out of desperation and unable to wait any longer for unemployment, he says he's secured a new temporary job.
It's on a deployment basis, so 1 week I could have a job and the next week I could be back to needing unemployment.
Well, I certainly was very frustrated. Today, the governor said 400,000 people have received unemployment checks. Those checks total up to about $1 billion. Still, he says he knows that people are waiting. Some of those people just waiting for someone to answer the phone. Back to you.
Thank you, Leanne. Today, the North Carolina House passed its own version of a coronavirus relief bill. The state Senate passed its bill yesterday, outlining how to spend $1.3 billion. The House plan deals with $1.7 billion. Now the two chambers will have to work out their differences to get a compromise bill on the governor's desk by Friday. We just learned of an 8th death in Davidson County due to COVID-19. 5 people have died in Guilford County since yesterday. That brings the total in the triad to 52 people. So far, 381 people across the state have lost their lives because of this virus. That is more than twice the number of flu deaths this season, which started back in October. NASCAR is going to start racing again in May. This would mark the first sports competition since the pandemic started. The first race is going to be on Sunday, May 17th at Darlington Raceway with the NASCAR Cup Series that'll serve as the first of 7 races over an 11-day span. This also includes the Coca-Cola 600 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's going to be Memorial Day weekend. No fans are going to be in attendance for these races. Other adjustments include mandating the use of protective equipment, health screenings, and maintaining social distancing. It is official. Wake Forest's new head basketball coach is Steve Forbes. He's going to take over Danny Manning's old job and lead the Deacs on the hardwood this fall. Our Lauren Walsh is live at the Joel this evening. Lauren, tell us more about this new hire.
Well, Brianna, the timeline is really interesting. Clearly, the global pandemic that's going on was no match for the Wake Forest coaching search. Just 5 days after firing head coach Danny Manning, the Deacs have found their new leader. Steve Forbes is leaving East Tennessee State and coming here to coach at the Joel next season. And Forbes certainly has a knack for winning. He led the East Tennessee State Buccaneers to 30 wins this past season. We could talk about his numbers all day, but one number Wake definitely cares about is graduation rate. All 22 seniors on Forbes' East Tennessee teams earned their degrees. In a press release from Wake Forest, Forbes said, quote, "I'm extremely excited for the opportunity to be the head men's basketball coach at Wake Forest University. My highest priority is spending time and developing relationships with our current student athletes, alumni, and the young men who will make up the future of Demon Deacon basketball." To put it simply, Forbes is a 30-year coaching veteran with a proven history of winning. And that's exactly what Wake Forest needs. We'll have much more coming up in sports later this evening. For now, reporting live at Wake Forest, I'm Lauren Walsh, WXII 12 News.
Thank you, Lauren. Federal distancing guidelines expire today, and the president says he's not going to extend them because most states have their own policies in place. More than half of states are set to at least partially reopen by the end of this week, and that's raising some questions about readiness. Sally Kidd's in Washington, and Sally, tell us more about where things stand.
Testing capacity remains a big concern, Brianna, but there is some promising news about an experimental COVID-19 treatment and a vaccine. The key to reopening the economy, experts say, is adequate testing capacity, and we're not there yet.
On testing, we're doing numbers the likes of which nobody's ever seen before.
New Jersey's governor at the White House stressing the importance of boosting capacity by the end of May.
We'll be able to at least double, and I hope more than double, our testing capabilities.
Democratic leaders in Congress say the president's testing blueprint falls far short of what's needed. They're calling for the use of the Defense Production Act to ramp up supplies.
We still don't have a national testing strategy. Health experts are sounding the alarm.
Meantime, progress is being made on efforts to fast-track a vaccine. Dr. Anthony Fauci on the Today Show said hundreds of millions of doses could be available by January.
We're going to safely and carefully, but as quickly as we possibly can, try and get an answer as to whether it works and is safe.
And Fauci says the experimental drug remdesivir is showing promise in treating seriously ill COVID-19 patients. But experts say it's not a game changer.
The data is not robust enough, I believe, for the FDA to issue a blanket approval, but they do have the emergency use authorization tool that would allow doctors to use this drug right away in desperately ill patients.
And Pitt says it's not clear how quickly the manufacturer of the drug could scale up production to meet demand. In Washington, Sally Kidd, WXII 12 News.
Thank you, Sally. National Guard soldiers are planting crops to feed families in need here in North Carolina. 11 Army North Carolina National Guardsmen got cantaloupe, bell peppers, and squash in the ground at Food Shuttle Farm in Raleigh yesterday. The National Guard is filling a critical gap as volunteers are staying home. The farm is part of the Interfaith Food Shuttle in the state capitol, which distributes nearly 6 million pounds of food every year. Well, it's hard to remember a time when there was more love and appreciation for our healthcare workers than there is right now. So many people are showing their support in one way or another, and a business in Greensboro is doing something extraordinary. Let's go to Kenny Beck now, live from his home this evening, to fill us in on that. Kenny, good to see you.
Brianna, you as well. Good afternoon, everybody. As this pandemic continues, a lot of people and a lot of businesses have been asking a pretty basic question. How can we help? What can we do to make all of this just a little bit better, a little bit more palatable for everybody? Well, there's a company in Greensboro that's come up with an awfully unique idea. This is pretty cool. Marta Mitchell Interior Design wants to show a whole lot of love to a deserving healthcare worker. They're taking nominations right now for a healthcare warrior in Guilford or Rockingham County. This can be anyone, a nurse, a doctor, hospital staff, EMT, urgent care, or a nursing home employee. You do have to be 21 years of age. There's a panel of judges, and ultimately they're going to pick one winner who gets a $20,000 bedroom makeover for free.
We started talking about what can we do to help. And we're not a restaurant, so we're not going to send food. And it just made sense at that point that the best way for us to do something for this group of people is to do what we do best.
And to nominate a friend, a loved one, or heck, to nominate yourself, visit our website, WXII12.com. We have a link how to do that right on our homepage.